Good evening. My name is Susan Stevenson. I'm the chair of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation for the Village of Southampton, New York. I'm calling this meeting on September 28, 2020 to order. Do I have a motion to open the meeting?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Aye. I'd like to introduce our panel. Peter DeWitt to my left, Sarah Latham, John Gregory to my right, Alice Cooley, our counsel, Jolie Sanchez, our recording secretary, and Kat and Charlie Styler on the video. Okay, let's get started. First, the minutes approval for September 14th, 2020. Did everyone read them? Motion to approve the meetings of September 14th, 2020.
So moved.
Aye.
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 Great. Next, no signs. Whoa.
Good sign committee.
That's not a good sign. Next, written decisions. First, North 5th LLC, 430 Halsey Neck Lane, driveway gates. Did everyone get a chance to go over this?
Yes.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, no, we have to, okay. Great. Next, Jason Kahn, 155 Hampton Road. Everyone read this one, and
Yes. Definitely, yes.
motion to approve the written decision for Jason Kahn. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
And finally, 412 First Neck Lane LLC. Do I have a motion to approve this written decision?
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
This was a big one. Okay, this goes in the front, right in the front where the, let me put them all together there, Sarah. Next, driveway gates non-historic. Shay and Michelle,
Just sing it.
we just thingy.
That's a tough one.
And your name is, sir?
My name is Jeff Ulysse.
Okay, sir. Is this the same exact plan?
This is a revised plan.
Wait, first let's make sure we have our affidavit.
Oh, do you have affidavit supposed, it goes, I actually have the stamp. So she can look at it.
Do you mind passing it over? Thank you.
Thank you. Is this what you put?
Correct.
Does this differ from what was in the first
Yes, it is
application?
The initial plan that we submitted, the bottom frame, the bottom panel was solid.
Counsel? Okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
all right, proceed.
And
Your
our-
name? I'm
Yep.
sorry.
First name Jeff, last name Ulysse.
Could you spell it for the secretary, please?
Yes, last name U-L-Y, S of the fan, S of the fan, E of the In our last hearing, we presented the plan with a solid panel at the base of the gate. The board objected to the plan for two reasons. The board felt the Harvest Lane did not have any gates on it. And secondly, the plan itself was not 50% transparent. So I wanted to present to you, one, a new plan, a revised plan, of course, and also some additional information regarding Harvest Lane to see if the board would reconsider their original decision on it. First and foremost, 38 Harvest and also 46 Harvest have existing gates. 38 Harvest has two gates, one egress and ingress. It is a horseshoe driveway. There,
Are the gates up by the road?
yes.
Well, we drove through there and not one of us saw it.
I have pictures.
Great.
Well, okay, it would have been nice to have them on file. Okay, let's see them.
Sure. And I also have the approvals from the ARB. Present two of them for you.
Do you have the television tonight for the,
Oh.
providing the,
I'm going to have to stamp those also.
September 8th, 2014, 38 Harvest presented a plan to the board, which was approved December 11th, 2017. The pictures that you see attached to the handout provided you are the gates that are actually existing on Harvest Lane.
Can we see them too?
here you go.
Can we get the screens up?
These gates are not mechanical gates, right?
From my understanding,
No. They aren't.
No.
Okay.
and then also,
Can we see them?
Yeah, it's just on the table.
On the table.
okay,
Facing us.
Please, that's the way they pick it up.
The photograph, yes, thank you.
Here you go.
Okay. There you go.
These are- Is this all the same place?
yes.
It's
Okay.
different.
One of
It's
each
a horseshoe.
individual- Yes, exactly. There's one picture of each individual gate, and then there's one larger picture showing both gates. Then we also have at 46 Harvest Lane, decision granted approval to a similar gate as our initial plan on September 8th, 2014.
Do you have photographs of those? Why didn't we, all of us have...
Yeah, where are these homes in
Oh, is this on
proximity
the
to
corner?
I didn't see
And
them.
I'll open up a map for you so you can
Okay,
see
good.
exactly.
Yeah, thanks.
That would be great.
Well, we never would have, this was approved?
Yes.
Years ago.
Oh, yeah.
In all actuality, what was approved is not necessarily what's there.
That it was approved.
Right. But I'm not necessarily here to to call that
A whole
out.
other can of worms.
That's for sure. Goodness gracious.
I also have an aerial map taken from the town GIS to kind of show you exactly their proximity to our request.
Here.
Thanks.
Here.
I also highlighted the extent of Harvest Lane so you can see exactly where Harvest actually begins and ends.
Oh, okay. I know exactly what it is. Wait, I'm sorry.
Is that on, we need to put that down.
I have it down right here.
Oh, good.
That's interesting.
I have both the approval and the minutes from the meeting.
Well, I don't know what to think about this. This is completely different from what's was approved.
So in regards to what's already existing, we wanted to present to you once again that we would like to put in a gate that's, of course, 50%, at least 50% transparent. I know one of your objections was there were no existing gates, but they're clearly here. The board approved 2 gates on Harvest Lane, which show that there are existing gates. So we wanted to just present once again maybe a more appealing design that maybe the board would reconsider their previous decision.
This, Mr. Mahoney's is 150 feet off the
I'm not sure if
That's what
existing is
these
150
notes...
feet.
150 feet. Yes, this one is, according to these notes, 150 feet off the street.
Yes.
Well, that's a whole other kettle of fish. That's not what we're really talking about.
But both gates are transparent and are visible from Harvest Lane.
But there's a difference between...
No, completely understood.
I'm
Completely
sorry.
understood.
What's the distance of this gate to the street?
18 feet.
18 feet?
Correct.
Which one is that? Was that 38? What's that one, 38?
38's got the two, right?
38 has the two.
And 46 has the one that's set back?
That's set back.
Yes.
Got it.
Oh, 46. This is setback what? 150 feet.
Yes, 46 is the flag lot on the map.
46 is the flag lot.
Correct.
It says setback 162. Mr. Broadley doesn't want any gate.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it either. So. Okay.
Albeit setback, on paper setback 150 feet. I'm not sure if it currently
Okay,
is.
that's fine.
But,
If it isn't, it's illegal. So
right.
there you go.
Fine.
How's that? I don't know. I'm not the police.
And I'm not here for that either, right?
Well, there's definitely a discrepancy from what was on that plan.
So our objective today is just simply present this new plan, which is at the very least, once again, 50% transparent. Instead of having a solid base panel, it is now also mimicking the top, which is 2x2 inch spindles. And that same design is going to continue on the base as well.
Well,
So considering the objectives or objections you had during our previous meeting were no gates existed and that is not transparent.
well, sir, you know, one of the gates is not a mechanical gate,
Okay.
and the other one's 150 feet off the street. So I don't think that they really are the same.
And it's,
Is the mechanical gate part of your review?
Well, because you don't actually, I don't think you open and close it every time you come and go. That's why we didn't see it. It goes this way, I think.
Okay.
I do think there's a big difference.
I mean, the issue for me is having gates in a small residential area where
Me
the lot
too.
sizes aren't substantial enough to warrant that type of presentation on the street.
Right. Well, then to me, the examples he's giving are not what he's proposing.
No, well, especially the one that's far off the street.
Well, what I'm proposing at 38, outside of the mechanics of it, are exactly the same.
But the mechanics of it are that it's closed most of the time. If someone has the other kind of gate where they put the stopper down with their foot, they only do that when they leave they're not going to get out of their car every time.
I don't see how you can render a decision based on whether or not it's mechanical or whether or not someone leaves their gate open or closed. You
Well-
review the design of it.
And clearly, based on the pictures, the gates are closed. They
Well,
don't leave
not
them
when
open.
we've been there. We're telling you that.
Well,
Every one of these people has gone down there.
Okay.
it's quite a distance from the subject property, the two gates that exist. And I drove around the loop, but I didn't take Harvest Lane over to Moses, so I missed it. I'm going to
I didn't either. But in this thing where they live,
That loop, that U-shaped loop of Harvest, there aren't any.
all right, that's good.
And I think we should keep it that way. It's a relatively, modest
Open.
homes.
It's an open neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I disagree. Their existing,
That's what we're
38
here for.
Harvest has two existing ingress and egress gates. Not just the one, but two.
But we hear you. And I think it's far enough away that it doesn't impact this particular application.
Right, I only drove their neighborhood.
Yeah, I just went around the loop. I did not go over to Moses. That's why I didn't see it.
So this one
Well,
is
it might have been open, because that's the...
Might have been, right.
Trust me, if you had a bag of groceries and you had to get out of the thing every time, you wouldn't leave it closed. Trust, I wouldn't, but anyway, she's saying it doesn't matter. To me, I think there is a difference in how much impact it would have, even that one. All right. Do you have any other?
Well, I just wanted to state that considering that whether or not the gate stays open for me, doesn't change anything. With a mechanical gate, you could program it to only open.
That's up to them. We're really, okay.
And once again, the objection during the last hearing was that there are no gates on Harvest. I presented to you 2 existing gates on Harvest.
And we're saying that the ones where this house is located on that loop, there are none. All 4 of us are saying that.
And this gate is not abutting a main road. It's not abutting
We're not
Moses.
talking about main roads, we're talking about a neighborhood, and that's what
Correct.
we're trying to protect.
And this gate, once again, is part of that neighborhood.
We understand.
Well, it's
Okay.
far away from the subject property. I think it's far enough away that it doesn't have to serve as a precedent for this one.
No, especially since Moses Lane is busy and Harvest Lane is a little enclave.
But once again, this does not abut Moses Lane. It's
That's
on-
right.
I don't
That's
think it
what we're
matters,
saying.
sir. I mean,
I just think, is there anyone in favor of this?
no.
Again, motion to deny the application of 150 Harvest Lane driveway gates. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 It's denied. Next. William and Scarlett Robertson, 445 Hill Street, driveway gates. There were no new plans in the file, right? Mr. Bennett?
Excuse me?
Were there any new, we didn't see any new?
Nope. So, should I proceed?
You could state your name for the
My
record.
name, well, you asked me what my name was, I said yes.
That's
John
different.
Bennett for the applicant, and Mark Cirillo from Autogates is here with me. Should I proceed?
Yes.
Rarely have I seen such a misunderstanding by a board of this jurisdiction underneath the village code. I'm going to hand up to you.
If you had handouts, they should have been in the file on Thursday
I can put in what I
afternoon.
want for the record, Madam Chairman. This is just, I'm handing up the sections of the village code, which you have to take notice, legal notice of in
We're
any
not-
event. I'm
It
handing-
should have been in, if you have new information, it should have been in the file.
This is the code that you're regulating.
That is information in,
Come on, stop it.
don't talk to me that way, Mr. Bennett, or we'll be closing. Motion to
Handing up
close.
sections of the code.
We're not here for a lecture. What is it you're
What
presenting?
is you want?
No, I'm not lecturing
You
you. I'm
obviously-
You are lecturing us and you're disrespectful.
What your
What is it you would
jurisdiction
like to present to us this evening?
Well, what I'm telling you is, I've watched the tape in the past, for the past.
What is it would you would like to
What?
present to
Yes.
us
Mr.
this
Gregory,
evening?
I'm going to put in my case.
You have
Yes,
10
your
minutes.
counsel. I don't have 10 minutes.
Yep.
I have whatever I have time.
Okay, well, we're going to
So
close
then
it.
don't interrupt me.
Don't talk, okay, motion to close this application.
I'm
Do I have a
being denied
second?
my due process, and you know that.
You're being rude, and I
I'm
won't
not
have
being
it.
rude. I tried to put in copies of the village code, and you told me that was new information.
You
You're
told
being
us
rude.
that there, when a file is empty for new information, we have a lot of applications. You're supposed to put if you're going to hand out something, it should have been in the file. You could have copied the code 2 weeks
The
ago.
code is on your...
Let's hear their presentation, because this isn't a plan, so I think we should just hear the presentation.
Okay, well, it's not, people are waiting. I'm not letting this be a long lecture.
Well,
It probably doesn't need to be if we don't argue.
Okay,
These are the copies of the surveys, which are in the file, but I wanted each one of you to have one so you can see something that's very relevant here. The gates are, proposed gates are where the gates are currently,
this is,
the gates are currently where the gate posts are shown in the survey. It's approximately 23 feet from the paved surface of Hill Street, which is critical because under the village code, a permitted use is a gate or gate post, minimum setback of 18 feet from the edge of street pavement along the right-of-way, no greater than 25 feet in width. And thus, This is a permitted use, and as the board has been advised in the past by prior counsel, Mr. Robinson, you can tell people what the gate looks like, but you can't tell them that they can't have it because it's a permitted use. It's no different than telling someone they can't have a garage or a pool house or a house for that matter on the piece of property. To contrast, for example, the village code of the village of Sagaponack, about a year and a half ago, people were putting in gates, making applications to put on gates on about a 1.5 mile stretch where there were only 1 or 2 gates, and the village trustees passed a law saying that you couldn't have gates in certain areas of the village. That's what's necessary. What you're trying to exercise is a right of the trustees.
This is a historic district, Mr.
It doesn't matter. If you would please
Well,
let
it
me
matters
finish, I
to
can
us,
get
I
through
think.
this.
It matters to me.
I can get through this if you please let me get through it, and then you can make your decision, and we'll have a remedy if the decision we don't think is appropriate under the law.
There you are, threatening us. That is really...
I'm not threatening you. I'm telling you what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to give you is photographs of the driveway gates and photographs of other gates that are identical that have been approved by the board. There we go. If you could be kind enough to pass them out, Mr. DeWitt. Thank you very much.
Oh, sure, okay.
Thank you. And also photographs of the gates that have been approved, which I think are in the record anyway, but I wanted to make sure there's no question about that you have
I don't
them.
want it.
Okay.
I have to stamp these. Okay.
Now, this is in the historic district, but very essentially identical gates have been approved not that long ago at 1 Gin Lane, which is a house you may know. It's a very historic house. It's one of the old Betts cottages. It's called Wailaho. And that is a very historic, traditional style house made by the Bretts brothers, and you approved essentially virtually the same gate from the same contractor at that significant contributing structure in a similar fashion at 483 First Neck Lane, which is about 2 houses north of the Meadow Club. You approved essentially the same gates, which are also metal. Now, what I'm telling you is if you have comments about these gates, you don't like the material, you don't like some of the aspect of the gates, you have broad discretion. Tell me how the gates look, I think, as long as it's consistent with other applications that you've approved in the past. But you simply have no right under the code or under the law without some amendment from the village trustees to prohibit gates in any area of the village. 1 Gin Lane, which is a very historic building known as Wiley, as I said, approved for driveway gates, the same as they were here, essentially the same gate. I've also included information on Wiley Ho. I have a 1916 Belcher Hyde Atlas in my office. I took a copy of it. You can see how old it is. The other photograph is from Sally Spanberg's book on Gin Lane, clearly a very historic structure, and the ARB concluded that those gates were appropriate. 483 again, also in the historic district, same gates, very historic house. The board approved those gates as appropriate. There would be no suggestion that these gates on this property for this house, not the same level of contributing structure as the other 2 buildings that you approved the gates for, would not be appropriate. Now, if you have suggestions as how you'd want these existing gates changed, if you want these gates made of some other material or something like that, and and what you wanted to impose were reasonable and within what you've done in the past and were consistent with your jurisdiction under the code, we'd be more than happy to listen to that. But a blanket statement that you're not going to approve gates here because there are not gates in the area not only is factually incorrect. I drove up and down Hill Street, and there are approximately 28 to 29 gates, number one, but that's irrelevant. There could be no gates on Hill Street. You simply do not have the authority under the village code as currently written to prohibit a permitted use in a conforming location. Succinctly put, you can tell me what it looks like, but you can't tell me whether or not I can have it there. That's all I have to say.
You left out the part about it's in the historic district.
It doesn't matter if you're in the historic district or not.
I know you don't think it does. I do.
Okay, well, you have to cite authority on your council bed, and you're ready to cite authority.
we have a right-
to do that.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I have to say.
Well, here's what I propose. Mr. Bennett has said that prior council said that this board cannot tell people that they cannot have gates. I don't know if that's the case. I need to take,
Affidavit from Mr. Robinson.
It doesn't matter what he said.
I need to take a look at that. So I would need time for that, unless there is design comments that the board has tonight, which we could entertain tonight.
Well, what about in historic districts, changing how the landscape looks, obscuring parts of the buildings or the property? There is a gate next door to the gate that you put up. I've gone and researched the records in the building department. There's absolutely no evidence that that's a legal gate in any sense. That's at 417. Well, it mattered to me.
That doesn't
So I
matter.
went and did it. I'll decide what I think is important, Mr. Bennett, for me.
Okay, that's good.
The historic, we are supposed to protect the historic districts. And by putting up a structure that takes the eye straight to right off the street, away from the buildings. Hill Street is the gateway to the village. The farther you get from the center of the village going west, there are farmhouses, then a bungalow, farmhouses, and then the section where the Robertson's house is, which is the most, I think, highly intensely historic in terms of farmhouses. And all the way out, there are not gates. And the gates that you mentioned on First Neck Lane, that's a different neighborhood. We're here to decide what's appropriate for a neighborhood and what's appropriate in a historic district. And those two things seem to have been discounted by your explanation.
No. That doesn't allow you
I'm
to
sure-
disallow a permitted use.
That we could
It's not gonna
disagree on
allow.
that, Mr. Bennett, that's
I
all.
think your counsel is suggesting that if you have design changes that you want to see on the
I have
page-
no design changes myself. I think it's inappropriate where it is.
Okay. And your reason for that?
It's in a historic district, and it's
Can't see the house from the
inappropriate.
road.
This isn't
Well, you
about-
should be able to, because they've got so much planting, that's part of the code too, but I'm
Some of
not
the
going
planting
there
is
with
what
that.
you required when the driveway was approved.
We allowed them to build a garage.
You didn't allow them to build the garage.
Yes,
You gave your design
We
input
approved,
on them.
well, we discussed it a lot, fine, whatever you say, Mr. Bennett, however you want to couch it.
The law to you, that's all.
Well, it sounds like I need to make a determination, so I'm going to need a little time to do that.
So how will we handle this adjourn?
Would you like an adjournment for me to make a determination to advise
Yeah,
the
I think
board?
that's only fair.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would certainly never want to put a lawyer in position. If you want to take time to look at it, I would
Please,
be asking the
especially,
same thing if I were in your shoes, so absolutely.
thank you. All right.
Motion to adjourn the application of William and Scarlett Robertson, 445 Hill Street for driveway
But
gate.
before we do that, you have no
Second.
design comments, correct?
No.
You have no design, okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So
Not
moved.
now.
So moved.
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have a second? Second, I don't know. Aye,
Aye, second.
adjourned. Well, he was under the,
Love Nest?
Love Nest Trust, 28 Gin Lane, driveway gates. State your name for the record, please.
Good evening, John David Rose Architect, with our office at 596 Hampton Road. I have a few affidavits of mailing.
Oh, good.
Where am I going with this?
I think,
Who wants it?
do you want it, or? I have to stamp it because this is all goofed up
okay
with
if I just bring it up?
COVID-19. Yeah. And then I'll,
Down the posting.
thank you.
And then I have 7 copies of reduced plans.
Those should be in the, we have them.
I have
We don't
In
need,
case because other people helped me with this application.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have it.
We have it.
we have it. Thank you very much for submitting it. So we didn't have to spend the rest of our natural lifetime up in the building department leaning and breathing on each other.
As you know, this application is in the historic district. We're replacing an existing gate in an existing location. The gates are going to be approximately 50 feet from the road edge, which shows here.
50 feet?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
way back. It's where they are currently.
Okay.
Honestly, the property's big enough, we can do it.
Yeah,
Yes,
sounds
yes.
nice. That's very nice.
Edges will come in and it'll go back. The gate's going to meet, of course, the 50% open air requirements. The gates are stone to match the house. They're going to be 6'8" tall, the gate posts, sorry. Stone to match the house is 6'8" tall and 24 by 24 inches square. The gates themselves are going to be 5'7" tall by 3.5 inches thick and made of wood and painted the hunter green that's matching the house. It's all the finishes and colors that this board approved in the past. Kind of understated and quiet, but certainly in keeping.
Does anyone have an objection now that we know it's 50 feet off the road?
No.
Motion to approve the dates for Love Nest Trust, 28 Gin Lane.
Oh, we have to close
Oh,
for written
closed for written
decision.
decisions, so sorry. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve for written decision, Love Nest Trust?
Second.
Aye, aye.
Aye. Well done.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice gates.
Ed Hollander was involved in it.
Yeah, they're nice.
He does good work. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Next. Joseph Negri, 81 Halsey Street. Construct two-story dwelling, detached garage, and accessory pool house. Your name, sir?
Ray Booth of McAlpin.
Okay, before we get started, I wanted to go on the record that I had contacted you about the window colors,
Yes, ma'am.
just so it's on the record that we had
Thank you.
communication.
Of course.
Okay,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
that. I was able to get samples.
Oh, good.
Okay, good, that's a good help. Okay, proceed.
So we had presented the house last meeting, and the comments were about stepping it back from the street as far as we could. We were able to go back 9 feet from the 40-foot setback by reducing the garage size, the pool lounge, and the area between the swimming pool. We also had a comment about the front window, which we changed to one single window. Actually, I think is much better, so thank you. And then the side porch, we had concerns about the privacy issues, so we added louvers on those sides and carried them around. If you look on, the elevation, on the back, we carried them around the back side as well, so they kind of turn the corner, which provides a little more privacy there, and just continuity of the design.
Just a small detail question. Are those going to be fixed?
Fixed.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no feeding.
Just curious.
They
Thank
make me
you.
crazy.
Thank you. I thought you tried very hard to listen to what we wanted. You did a good job,
Definitely.
I always do, and I appreciate it.
honestly.
What else? Oh, there's, on the plan, it still shows a gate at the front. Is that just a...
You know, there is not a gate at the front, which I think we had discussed.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because we talked about that a while ago.
I think there was at the back. Let me get to that.
At the back?
Unless it's just on the one I'm looking at. On the very front page, you'll see...
Of course, it's printed so faintly, I
Oh,
can't
yeah,
even see.
I see it. Yeah. Page 1.
Yeah.
Here, I can show you one.
I think we were wanting to get a gate there just for the pool compliance, so that there was not enclosure, or there was an enclosure for the pool.
Does that
It was
work?
back at the house.
To my knowledge, the front yard can't be enclosed.
It can't.
No, they have to do it by code anyway.
You have to have an enclosure so children don't fall in.
I understand that. But can it be the front, it has to be how far from the pool? It doesn't matter?
No, the entire house cannot be in the pool area.
Right.
Uh-oh, so that doesn't solve your problem.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
He's the building inspector.
The entire house cannot be in the pool area.
Oh, Chris.
I'll address it with code on a building permit. It has nothing to do with this application.
Okay.
Well, it does because he's giving a reason, and we're not going to take it. So what he was saying is you can't enclose the whole property, which I,
We
in the
can
past,
do it at the hedge. There's,
you
won't
need,
do it at
we
the
might have
back.
to, it might be weirder than that. And they can't give you a C of O if your pool isn't properly fenced.
Oh,
Just-
sure.
Do you have, is there a design for the
No,
gate
they
in
haven't
here?
submitted it.
Oh,
It's on
well, then you're not approving it.
We're not
It's not
approving
before
it.
you.
That's right, I don't know.
That's fine.
Okay. Go ahead, sorry. This is-
No, I think those were the concerns that the board had presented, and
All right, so
solutions
let's-
accordingly.
How about the materials then?
So materials were going to be a cedar shake. They were going to paint a white. The roof materials are going to be just a weathered cedar shingle. And then we were looking for this midnight bronze color, which is just a dark bronze color for the windows.
Oh,
It looks black from here.
yeah.
It is
Really
a
dark.
dark bronze. If you look on this
Yes.
page,
See, you know, that page,
so I don't know if this shows for you guys.
I don't know.
This is a house that we had designed, it's actually in Tennessee, but we thought it was a good representation of the white with the weathered shingles and then the dark
What page is that?
mulligans.
13.
Oh, I've got everything but. Oh, yeah, I didn't realize that was an example. I thought that was just something you got out of a book.
Just to
Okay.
show the material selections.
So I noticed on the next page, no, on page 16, you're showing these are houses on Halsey Street or what?
Yes, ma'am.
So every one of these houses has white windows, yes?
They do.
Which is a kind of an argument against your bronze windows in my head. I think it's strident. I
Or
also
one for
and
them.
Huh?
Well, it could be one for them. It is a material that is familiar to the street, but it's not an exact representation of it.
What material?
Just that it's
bronze?
It's a white shingle that's painted.
I'm talking about the windows, because
Sure.
what we have is what I think is a kind of too much of what might have been a novel thing at the time. These white houses with these dark windows, and I think they're strident when they're in a neighborhood full of shingle houses, of which you've given us plenty.
The house right next door is actually painted white.
That's fine, I'm not
This house is
arguing
next
with white, I'm arguing with the window color.
Yeah, it's the window coloring.
We're
that's the issue.
worried about the
Color
window
being
color. We don't like the window color. I don't, personally.
I don't like it either. I think it should be white.
If you made it white, I think we'd be finished.
For reasons of consistency with the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
I mean, this is,
But those are weathered shingle houses where white stands in
here's a white
contrast.
house.
Yes, yes. I'm just saying that the bronze, the dark window against the white of the
Yeah, that's what
shingles
we're-
gives some contrast.
We understand that, and
it's just not
that's
a-
the thing we feel is sort of aggressive and not appropriate for this particular part of this neighborhood, this street, which you've carefully laid out, the evidence, I'm afraid, on this page 16. There are 6 houses you've shown us, most of them weathered shingles, one white house, clapboard.
If we opted to, and certainly I'd take it to my client, but if the shingles or the shutters were painted, would that be
Painted what?
consideration if they were dark? I'm looking for
I
some
don't think that's
opportunity
going to
to
help. No, I
offer
think
some contrast to
some
the
I
palette.
think it's,
Is it
No,
not?
I don't think black shutters mean, or dark shutters mean the window frame has to be dark, or that it helps the dark. I think the window should be white to match the others nearby.
because your house, honestly, is pretty somewhat different from the, which is good on your street. But then to make it, to have these weird, we just find that when it's all said and done on these, in this kind of a situation, it has a kind of, I find, unpleasant look. But it's aggressive, the dark windows, they're like black holes. And that is dark, that bronze. And I would not be in favor of that. I think
Would
that it
a lighter bronze color be more acceptable?
depends how light it is.
Yeah, I'm not wedded to white.
No, it's not dark.
So, of course, we're looking at these in,
Those are
Not the
all,
best light.
that all reads dark.
that's black, this is matte bronze, this is midnight bronze.
They all read black.
Reads dark to us. There isn't a choice. Although,
I mean, that's a black.
yeah,
That's just a
we've
black.
seen a lot of black.
Is there charcoal mixed in there or paler gray?
There is not in this set, there is possibly another set that might have that, but I don't have that set with me.
I was just thinking about the color that was approved on Toilson as being,
But that was a weathered
That was-
shingle, not a White House, wasn't it?
May I ask, if we were to find a charcoal color that is around the depth of the weathered shingle, would that be acceptable? Again, I'm
Not to
trying to
me.
find some
We'd have
contrast.
to see it.
It's not a weathered shingle. You're having a White House, is that correct?
No, the roof is a weathered shingle.
Well, I
I'm
know
sorry.
that.
Yeah, I think if we had a sample to look at,
yeah, I think we should.
We could look at the sample. I personally think anything,
it's just that the black,
Dark.
the dark, it seems so out of character with the rest of the homes in the neighborhood. That's the issue. I think, it's not so much a color, it's just a color that's in keeping with
the dark.
the look and feel of the neighborhood. So, I think
So it wouldn't have been, here's more of them, goodness.
What color are the shutters?
The shutters were going to be white.
Is that on the plan?
it's not specified, but
Yeah, the stuff needs to be,
You just have one pair of shutters, right?
just in the,
There are on the front.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And, no, I'm actually talking about the louvers in the back.
they're wood.
They would be.
They're just wood.
They would probably be the same color as the windows. So I was thinking they would probably, no, I'm sorry, these were going to be white shutters, so those would be white.
Okay.
So the whole thing is
That
white.
back is white, yes, ma'am.
Oh, I thought it was going to be some kind of wood.
It's actually all painted.
Okay, I hear you. Well, that's where I'm stuck. I don't feel, there's a lot of fenestration in this house, a lot, but maybe you can, and that on the street, if it hadn't been so beautifully pointed out by your presentation, I was, all of a sudden I thought, now, wait a minute, I just think it's too much.
I guess I would just ask that you consider that all the materials that are being used are quality materials that are familiar and that are used in the town. And to me, there is a case for it not being just like every other house.
It is obviously not like every other house, the design of the house.
True. Well, and
And-
the palette is part of that design. And so I just would like for you to consider that when you think of this.
I did consider it, and then I thought, you know what?
Well, we hadn't had a chance to talk
No,
about
but
it.
I'm not, I think it's another shade.
Okay.
I'm
So
not
can
married
we-
to white.
I'm not married to white, but he's
Okay.
not,
If we could find a suitable charcoal color, I think that would be.
Everything else you did, I think, is fine.
yeah, you
Okay.
did a nice
house is
job. and
beautiful.
I-
Really nice job.
Thank
Okay,
you.
well, let us work on that.
Okay.
Is it
Okay.
possible to get this approved, though, and then have some conditional approval for?
Counsel?
I don't see how
No, too
without
many windows.
the window color.
I don't think so. I'm sorry. That's why I called you, because I was hoping that we could, but it's not working. I did try, sir. And our next meeting's,
I can't make another meeting. I do have a different brand in the car.
Go get it.
go it, get it.
Get it?
Go for it.
All right,
Yeah.
let's see if there's something there. I don't know if there
Are
will
we
be.
going to have a callback or just let him go?
Let them go.
Hurry up.
Don't hurt yourself.
Number 3 has a black door and a very dark colored roof.
It's still the windows, there's a lot of windows in this thing.
Number 3? Oh, yeah.
On page 16.
Yeah.
15.
Well, I think let's see what he comes back with.
just the front door, right? Does the
The roof,
What, on number 3?
yeah.
I don't think you can tell anything. It's
Well,
weathered.
the door is dark, you're correct. The door is
Yeah, but
painted
it's all
dark.
painted white. It's got more white paint than most of them.
that's just weathered shingle, that's
Makes it
the,
even more stark next to the black.
Well, that's shingles. He's painting the shingles, so we're going to have a white house, all white. These aren't even all white houses, so already we're stepping out.
does that
Number
gate,
2 is white.
does the gate has to be corrected for the pool enclosure before it's approved, or how does that?
If you build a house, our illustrious building inspector has to go over everything.
Yeah, you have to design it to the state code.
Right. But they won't get a C of O if it's not correct, right?
No,
Got
'cause
it.
that's one of the,
Right.
No,
you know,
no.
those gates that close by themselves and the
Right.
kids can't reach the top and this,
Yeah.
all kinds of, I had a safety gate put up like that you could take down around my pool, because I have my dog. Here we go.
We're on.
That was fast.
I wish I could say there's a suitable charcoal.
There isn't.
There's not.
Is there a suitable, anything else in there? Oh my God, now he's going through his pockets. I feel bad for you.
This is all I can offer.
Do you sell watches too?
Yeah. Thank you for that humor. This they're calling graphite.
That's,
Not sure if it's.
you know, at a certain point, if it's too light, it's going to be really too ugly. So we have to come up with something that's so dark, though. I mean, it's a.
I don't mind that.
Severe still. I mean, if you're looking for the color of the weathered silver of a cedar roof, that's much darker than that would be, right?
Yes.
You're looking for a dove?
I don't have
Oh
it.
no.
What's that? Khaki?
That's alpine white, a woodland green, but you wouldn't convince me that that's green.
Doesn't look like.
That's
It is
green.
green. It's kind of
Very
nice.
green.
It does look green from here.
Yeah.
It looks very green on
Oh,
the
yeah,
camera.
on the.
Yeah, you can really see it on there.
We had that at another house, at that
Yeah.
On
That
Toil
flag lot?
Street.
Awesome, behind.
That's what
on
I
the
was thinking
camera.
on Toil.
Yes.
Bill Merrill.
Yes.
The woodland green?
He put, yes, on this, I think it was cedar, but it was not shingles, was it?
It wasn't painted, I don't believe.
No, it wasn't painted, it was natural cedar. It was a beautiful little house.
I'm going to just say then we will go
Okay.
with alpine white.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay,
anywhere
motion
else to
to
go.
approve applicants to approve the plan for 81 Halsey Street. Do I have a second?
Second?
Aye.
If you could just mark the plan, cross
Yeah.
out the gate, and note the change of materials, and then sign it for us,
I
and we're
don't,
good.
on the big plans,
So,
do it.
may I ask,
He needs to do it.
if
he needs to do it?
I'm going to make this
Yeah, he's the
change,
architect.
Oh, I see. So you're going to say if the client is flipping out? How do we do?
Then you would have to come in for a modification of your approval,
That would be, and that's.
and it would just be limited to the
if
window.
I could come in for that modification of approval with the charcoal and switch to
Well,
that.
we might not approve it, but
You can ask.
you can.
But is
so
that
it's
another meeting?
To amend, it is a
Procedurally,
meeting, but it would
yeah.
be an amendment of the,
At your own peril.
Well, the house is approved. It would be a quick thing, I would think.
Assuming
I'm sorry.
are those the big plans?
I think so.
Great. No, they're not.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, it has an approval stamp there. Does it say approved up there on that red? Yeah. Is there another one? Okay. There's the second one.
Oh, so there was no car gate there. This was just a pedestrian gate.
No,
He
no,
has
no.
to change
It's the
both.
gate at the street. That's the,
Oh, yes, no, that's not going to be there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So yes, the remediation of your problem is that you ask for an amendment to the plans, which is quite often done, actually.
Okay.
I mean,
So,
we're
I'm
all
so
having-
sorry. I just need to note on,
You have to
One of
put
these-
where it says, do you say what the materials are?
I think you did on the big ones.
You do, because I read it somewhere. It's like on page,
I don't care if it's on the cover, as long as.
just write it on the beginning there and I'll
Write
fix
it.
it.
now this is the former design.
Oh, so, okay.
Do you have the big sets?
Let me see if this is,
Uh-oh.
this
We
is
have
not,
big
this is the
sets?
That's
former.
a former, okay.
Do we have big sets of the new designs that you gave us this
I
time?
believe so.
This is May.
We don't have them here, do we?
Wait a minute. Let's double check.
Can he do it on the small ones and we'll just,
If we must.
and put that sheet attached to the big plans? Would you accept that?
I accept.
All right, so we've got an idea. You ready? I wrote 81 Halsey. Can we use this one? I can't,
Well, he can use the one he has in front of him.
We need 2 of them.
Oh,
You can take mine.
yeah. Well, I did vote on
I
this
didn't
one.
write anything on mine.
This is
All right,
May.
but I'd like to stamp it in and also,
Yep.
okay? So I'll be coming around there because, here, oh wait, we can do it.
I
this
can
way.
reach.
I can also get up.
Is that one stamped in? You know, it's all this weird paperwork.
This is not, I'm sorry.
Okay,
This
well,
is
when
my
you hand it back to us, it will be stamped in.
I got a little exercise tonight.
Yeah.
You gotta give me that one. Did you write on that one already?
I wrote on this one, yes.
Okay, now I have to stamp it into the file.
Do you want me?
Oh, yeah, you do it.
Okay.
Are you sure that's legal? I'm
Just a
sorry. I'm
stamp.
just trying.
No, please. Play by the rules as best you
I
can.
didn't make up the rules. I hate all this stuff. I'm not even that good at it. Half the time I forget the posting and mailing. It's not good.
Well,
We're good to go. And did you mark both of these then?
That means I didn't mark I marked only the one I had, so I need to mark yours for the Alpine White.
And are you supposed to sign it as well, Alice?
Just initial it.
Yes, please.
Did he initial it? It's page 16 or something? 15. 13.
Appropriate.
13 is my lucky number.
Good.
This you need, you did this one, but could you put your initials after the Alpine White?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we'll wish you great success with your project. How's that?
I
You were a
appreciate
good
that
sport.
much.
We tried.
Well,
You
We
really,
did.
it's a group effort.
The first submission of the small sets did not have those materials in it, which is part of what suddenly, you know, I get a bee in my bonnet that,
Okay.
wait a minute, what's going on here?
All right.
We're good to go.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, motion
Now,
to,
y'all want these back?
yes, we need them.
Okay.
thank you
Motion
so
to
much.
approve
Well done.
the application,
So moved.
Joseph Negri, 81 Halsey Street,
As amended.
as amended. So moved.
Awesome.
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, good
Appreciate it.
luck. All right, here, this all goes, this goes in there, could we put it in the front so we, I'm gonna put white windows on mine.
In the front of the file, which is huge.
Put it in the, if you could, because I have to sign it tomorrow. There's, you know,
Okay.
more weird stuff I have to do. Oh. Sorry. Next, David Silvers, 170 Halsey Street, partial enclosure of the front porch.
Yep.
Thought we made a little progress there, huh?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Relatively easy minor change. Better, I might add. I don't know how much you really need to explain. The previous set had the door over here and the windows in the front, and we did basically everything that you guys had asked, which is more fitting to the neighborhood.
Looks great.
Pretty straightforward.
I think we're good to go.
Yep.
Motion to approve the application of David Silvers, 170 Halsey Street, partial enclosure of front porch.
So moved.
Now, are there big sets of the new,
I believe I sent new sets in, as well as the enhanced by 11.
okay, great.
So we're good.
Did we vote on it? Sorry, second? Aye.
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 Okay, great. Thank you very much. It worked out. I'm sorry you had to come back.
Thank
No
you.
worries.
Thank you.
Short but sweet. Next, 31 Roscoe Developer LLC.
Hi, good evening.
Are you, I'm sorry, your name, please?
Frank DeVito.
Are you empowered to speak on behalf of the
I am,
applicant?
but what we were doing was just adjourning it.
Oh,
They called up last minute, they couldn't make it, so out of respect,
so you're asking, but is he
we're asking for an
on
adjournment.
the record to adjourn it?
He was here last time, so I think that's fine.
Okay, motion to approve the applicant's request to adjourn the meeting until our next meeting,
Yes.
which is at October...
October 9th?
No,
No?
that's Columbus Day.
Former Columbus.
Former Columbus Day, don't
I
get
know
me.
it's called
I'm
now.
not advocating one way or the other.
A day.
2 weeks from then, the 26th of October, is that
Oh,
correct?
How did I get that wrong? Okay.
So
There's only one meeting in October.
That's right.
Because of the holidays.
it's a- yeah.
Because often government offices are closed, so it causes a big snafu. I have a motion to approve the applicant's request for an adjournment to October 26th.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Good to
Mr.
go,
Levy.
Frank.
Thank
See you
you.
next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Richard Delaquila, sorry, you told me
No
that
problem.
last time, and you were so good-natured about it.
No worries.
227 Halsey Street.
Yes.
Now, last time,
I think we were
did
talking,
you have this stuff? Oh, here it is. Something was missing, but what was it?
well, I think where we had left off last time, it was the parking in front.
All right.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. And so, I think what we decided was it would be best to adjourn because I want to make sure we get this right.
Yep.
And so we had sent just a revised scheme. I went back and forth with my architect trying to figure out what the right solution is and wanted to show you guys what we had come up with. I think in terms of timing, we have some flexibility because I'm not starting anything at this stage right now, so I want to make sure we get it right with you guys too.
Is that in here, whatever?
We mailed a package out at the beginning of last week to you that has with this that I have a copy of right here in front of me.
Yeah, I don't see a,
We don't have that.
Pretty problematic.
Well, do you have any copies of that?
I do. I have 2 copies that I just have with me that I'm happy to leave with you, and I'm happy to, show you what we've done and understand you may not be able to make a decision if
Okay.
you don't have it. But
But then you'd have to come back. Or
yeah,
Put it on the table facing us, your
okay.
plan.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's
Wait, I
just
have
see
to-
what changes were made, and then we can
And then I'll
decide.
leave it with
Can
you
you
and make
just
sure
let
that
me
you
stamp
get.
those and hand them back?
Sure.
Is that all that stuff you're going to put in the file?
These were just the
Give me all that so
site
we can
and-
make sure that it's official,
Okay.
and then I'll hand it right back to you.
Sure. You can
Okay?
actually keep that set if you want. 'Cause I've got another one right here.
so you're essentially creating a horseshoe drive in front of the house.
Yeah, and we were trying to figure out what's the best solution that's also functional. Attached to that, it's hard to be complete because there's a lot of examples, but I also drove around the neighborhood and just looked for what else was being utilized or, in the neighborhood and in the village. As we've talked about before, the challenge on Halsey Street is
It's narrow.
it's narrow and cars drive fast. I went before the trustees a few years ago to try and get the speed limit lowered because it's still 30 on Halsey Street, and anyone who has kids is very aware of it, as we are. So, the idea that we had proposed here, and I also, by the way, understand not only the need but the want to keep a lot of pervious surface and grass. I like grass. I want to have as much of it as I can. And so what we were looking for was a solution that allows us to have a very functional, parking that has easy access and egress. You can see, I know this isn't an official survey, but this is the scheme of the site. There is a lot of yard still preserved here in this, but we were proposing, I have hedges right now, but to basically create kind of a parking courtyard in the front of the house here.
Yeah, that's the part that makes us unhappy, probably.
Okay.
Because that's just, put your parking out to the neighbors instead of it's somewhat your burden. What do you think?
Is there any special consideration for opening up another
Curb cut?
curb cut? Is that,
I think so.
Is the property width 100 feet?
It's 100 feet, yeah.
You can have 2.
okay.
Yeah, and what we were trying to do is something that would also still be aesthetically pleasing. So, it's hard to see here, but we have existing hedges. I have, it's helpful, I'll point to here. I have a tree right here, and I have this beautiful yard, and I'm trying to keep as much of it intact as I can. This was a solution I figured, and I had driven around and I found some examples, of people. Some of them I think are great, some of them I actually don't think are really great, but there's a lot of them around. But, there's a house on Little Plains that's on a smaller lot that had created a, sort of a parking courtyard in front of the house.
Yeah, that would no longer be
Yeah,
There's something about that that's not all what it would be today.
The only thing that's unappealing to me isn't so much the horseshoe, I mean, the second cut, is it starts to get the appearance of a parking lot when you have like all these cars parked in front of the house, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this is
Or a
probably not
townhouse
logical because
development.
I'm not going to have, I think he was showing the spacing there. In reality, we're,
Well, how many bedrooms do you have?
4 bedrooms.
You only need 3 spots.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's,
And the challenge is that to get, 3 spots, we have, the yard, as you can see, and we're trying to keep, again, the feeling of the yard back there and the contiguous grass as much as we can. And if we sort of turn in the back of the house, we're going to be coming right up, against the back deck and getting, closer to, to the pool. The other thing is that's a very long driveway. The existing driveway is all gravel. One of the ideas that we're looking at right now is whether or not we can run some kind of a geopaver track or something along to get more grass on that, along the side of the house.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's the,
it just
I
seems,
feel like I know that there are examples of this that I find particularly in your face, is that you have all this gravel on the fronting of your street. You're facing your house. And it sort of puts the burden of your parking, which no one likes to look at their parking, including me, on the neighborhood as opposed to you. I'm not saying I'd say no to it, but I think and it has a kind of townhouse kind of feel, like, whoa, we don't have enough room, so we're going to cram all the cars. That's how that looks in a townhouse community, you have a yard. I understand you want to preserve your yard. It just seems like to have room for 4 cars parked right on the street is really, in a neighborhood with small lots, relatively small lots, which I could then look up again on this other application.
if the section in front could be like narrowed a bit to just allow 2 cars in front, I mean, that would be.
So there was some grass?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
more.
I mean, one of the
space.
ideas that I liked here, and just to, obviously speak very openly, I liked the idea of doing, a grass or a geopaver style courtyard there, because I do like the grass as well. The thing I'm concerned about, and I talked with our landscaper about, is, just my wife and the kids, you pulling it out, it's great in theory, and I like it, but I was concerned that if it got chewed up, it would not look so desirable.
It's for occasional parking.
Yeah, and the plan is to have one of our cars in that garage. We have a Jeep, probably like half the world out here, and that will go back into the garage, and then. I think like a lot of young families, we don't have a lot of cars sitting out here, but we have friends coming and going. They drop the kids off and whatever. My parents come out and visit, and just to have the ability to sort of turn in and also not have an issue where people are backing up. And the problem we have now with the driveway, we have a lot of parking space, but if you have to move, 1 car, sometimes you have to move them all, and doing that on Halsey Street is also a major challenge.
Why couldn't you just do a horseshoe drive and not make it double wide?
I could go
A
for
horseshoe
that.
drive in the front, just 1 car width?
Yeah.
So you still have 3 spaces, more than 3 spaces with the driveway and everything.
That's something I can certainly have you get with Ryan and sketch that out. I'm certainly not opposed to it. Again, we're trying to make it look aesthetically pleasing, so that's something we
But to
can look
me,
at.
the stacking of the cars and straight out to the street is...
Yeah, no, I get
The
that.
part that you're sort of where you're going to live is fine, but I'm worried about it. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
The horse.
Just enough for 2
Just a normal
cars.
driveway where you park.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. As I'm looking at it now, I didn't think about it when you sent this to me. That looks like a parking lot, which is certainly, we don't own that many cars, so rest assured that's not going to happen.
But a horseshoe
But
drive.
you're still showing the gravel, like there's one on Elm, Woolley, where it's at the front to me when I turn the corner.
Yeah.
I think that's a fairly
I think just
straightforward
the horseshoe
change.
drive would be fine, single width.
Single with horseshoe.
Yeah, what's not to like?
Single with horseshoe?
You might
Okay.
have to come back, do you mind?
No. If you guys don't have the copies, like I said, we're not going to start this fall, so I want to.
All right, so why
I'm happy to come back
don't we
and get it
adjourn
right.
this?
Village residents on Halsey Street have been complaining for the last bunch of years about how many cars park on the street.
Well, it
And
is.
the village changed the code where you're allowed to park in the front of your house.
Yes.
And you have to plant it out so it can't be seen from the street.
Oh.
And you can't stack more than one car behind another car.
Okay.
Everything he's shown here is fully compliant with village code. He just can't be within 5 feet of the front property line. But if he shows a car in a garage, he's got enough for 6 bedrooms. And he only has to show 3 cars on that lot.
So
To be
what-
legally allowed to park.
Right,
approved
we're
by
just
village
saying,
code.
from our perspective,
Yeah, so if you
you
do
put a
like a
little
1.5
grass in there.
wide driveway.
Yeah, that's it.
and got another curb cut.
Yeah, I already have the hedges
But I
in
don't
front.
see why you would make them come back for parking, because parking doesn't come under your purview.
Because it's not parking, it's the driveway.
Driveways and parking do not come under the Architectural Review Board purviews.
Council,
Landscaping does.
yeah.
Not in the
And
historic district, it's not in the historic district.
The loss of greenery was what the objection was at the last meeting. That's why he's back at all.
Are you
So if you
opposed to the
haven't
idea
planned it out-
of doing this? That's,
Yeah, can we get it to work?
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna come back?
I'll draw. Like I
What's in
said,
the
I
mind?
want it to look
Oh,
right.
you're
and-
so agreeable and honest, it's shocking.
Well, I've lived here for over 8 years. I don't want to, I'm not trying to make the
Okay.
neighborhood worse.
Okay, motion
I
to
appreciate that.
approve applicant's request to adjourn to our next meeting to reconfigure the driveway.
Perfect. See you around the horseshoe.
Okay. Just so I understand when I come back, the intent is to show something
Yeah.
that is
like a
circular
Yeah.
and not as wide.
Just not as wide
Okay.
in front of the house.
And
12 feet
Chris, I
wide
want,
or
oh,
something.
Chris, okay.
He's not
12-foot
really
wide
part,
driveway,
honestly, he's not
perhaps.
part of our meeting, so
Okay.
why don't we deal with us?
You guys can run it yourselves.
Come on, Chris, that's just not okay.
You're not able to do it.
Okay.
Council, now what? We just can't win in here.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Okay, I may or may not be able to, I'll figure out what the calendar looks like, because I
Okay,
sometimes have
okay.
to drive out from Connecticut, so, depending on where
see.
I am at the time, so.
All right, sometime, so do you want to, I'm going to say adjourn to our next meeting, but you could
I'll
change it.
coordinate with,
You could send a letter asking for an adjournment.
okay.
Do you understand? Did you
Yeah,
get
yeah, I'll figure out which one works, and then make sure that I send an
So-
email or a letter to the office,
that? Okay,
care of the ARB for,
great.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Do you want us to adjourn to the October 26th meeting and then,
Let's do
And then
that
go
at
from
next
there.
meeting.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that for now, and then I'll have it
If
on
he
my
has to
calendar, and
send
as
a
we
letter,
get
he can
closer,
adjourn
I'll send
again.
a
Thank
letter.
you.
Okay.
Great, thank you so
Thank you very
much.
much.
Should we
And then
vote?
everything else from the last meeting, we're already fine with, right? So it's just getting this
Yes.
straightened out?
Yeah,
That's it.
Okay.
perfect. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you.
Motion, so do we vote on this or not?
No.
Motion to approve applicant's request at 227 Halsey Street to adjourn to our next meeting on October 26th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye.
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 Okay, next. AHST 123 LLC, 247 Little Plains Road. Construct 1 and 2-story additions to existing dwelling.
Hi, Will Schultz, architect, representing.
I'm sorry, could you spell your name?
SCHULZ, Will Schultz,
Will Schultz.
architect.
Thank you for the,
Representing.
give your affidavits of posting and mailing?
I do.
oh, over here. This is like, oh, sir, I'm not that tall. I need the,
We should get one of those.
yeah,
Clippers
those
on a pole.
that thing. I thought
Grabber.
of trying to get one.
Grabber.
Yeah, that's good. So this is
Are
the,
you, wait. So is there an affidavit that says you're the person who,
yes, agent, yes.
Yeah,
it is.
okay,
It's in
good.
the- It's in the
so
file.
we're on this, here, this goes back.
Okay, so this is the existing house at 247 Little Plains Road, and the client purchased this property and had a demolition permit to take the house down, but they love the house, so they have decided to keep it.
Very nice.
Yes, and it's a great piece of property. So what we plan on doing is we were going to support the house. We're going to dig out the basement, of course, and put a new basement under it. And when we put the house down, we're going to lower it a little bit. We're going to lower it 18 inches because right now there's only 5 steps plus a step up at the door in the front. In the back, there's 7 steps. So they wanted it to relate more to the property. And since they're adding additions, it also, in terms of the height of the house, helps. So in finished, when we do the additions, and the new height of the house will be at 32 feet. The existing lot coverage, or the allowable lot coverage,
We don't need that.
okay, so we're way under on that, and we're under on gross floor area. And then, so on the additions, on the floor plan, I'm showing, okay, so this is the porch that's on Little Plains Road. The dark area is the existing house that's there. And the addition that they would like to do is a dining room and a living room addition on the back of the house, which comes down on the south side a little bit. And then on the north side is a one-bedroom and a powder room. And then in the back is a back staircase and a laundry on that side. So the yellow, the parts I put in yellow are the one-story parts, and this part is the two-story part, and the back is a two-story part as well.
And that,
this is the pyramid.
there's also another place where you can live on that property?
There's yes. in
What's
the back
happening with
there's
that? Is that being renovated?
They're just painting it. And,
Okay,
you know,
just,
they're not-
because
they're
we
not
don't
doing
have a
anything to
full,
it.
okay,
So it's a garage with a
with an apartment.
yeah, small apartment above. So this, it's hard working up
Is there a site plan folder?
the site plan.
No, it'll be, is it,
Oh.
I'll get out of it.
So this is I did the pyramid at 5 feet and at 0. So you can see it's pretty low. I mean, it's a big lot. It's a beautiful lot.
Yeah, there's,
No, it's the trees and things like that. So
Does it say anywhere where I can't find where you list the materials on this plan. Maybe I'm
on
missing.
the elevations, I have put the notes on the elevations.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Here's a site plan.
Thank you.
They're on the big sheets. On the small sheets, it might have gotten punched. I'm not sure.
Whoa,
Sorry about that.
that's not really helpful.
But I have copies here. I can give them to you.
Oh, that's good. I know what it looks like.
would you mind passing that down, please?
Everything is to match existing. So it's a wood
I missed
shingle.
it too.
Oh, okay, here. Oh, do
Here.
you want that?
Okay, rendering.
These are just the elevations with the notes.
That's fine. Oh, it has the
This
materials?
has all the nuts and materials on it, yes. So
Oh,
it's
great.
it's a wood shingle roof, cedar shingle roof. It's
Here we
the
go.
siding, marble windows, white to match existing.
White,
Okay,
imagine
good.
The
that.
porch is all, everything is going to, stay in, and those corner boards are going to stay on the house.
And that's,
And everything is to match on the new addition.
is that stained cedar, or is that just like a natural that you have?
They're going to leave it natural.
Natural? Okay. It's hard to tell sometimes.
They're going to, they like the house like this, the way it is.
Okay.
So in the porch material, the railing's going to stay, the beadboard ceiling on the porch is going to stay, the front door is going to stay.
Can you,
They're preserving quite a bit then.
Yes,
it should be facing us. Thank you.
sorry.
I have this one.
Me too. You do?
Can you put the renderings down too?
Sorry?
The
The
renderings?
renderings?
Renderings, yes.
And they need to face the board for them to
good.
pick it up.
Thank you.
Okay.
So like the only thing that sticks out to me, the skylights, can you explain those?
We don't usually do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the owner, it's because the attic space is, so, I mean,
To me, it's better than dormers and,
I don't mind them because the alternative is dormers. and,
exactly, that doesn't bother me.
That's what I think.
I mind them, but okay,
Okay.
I'll listen to them.
I get it.
They're on the back of the house though, right? That's,
They're on the side. No, they're on the side.
I mean,
They're on the front.
but
They're
toward
on
the
the
back of the,
yes,
Yeah, they're not on.
All right.
they're on the front.
What about, so in the difference, it seems to me, is that The original house has a more, that the roof of the original house has, the shape of the roof has somehow been changed when you added those, when you, have you changed the shape of the
No,
roof?
no, that's the existing, we're not taking the roof. We're not touching the
Okay,
roof.
just looks like it.
Yeah, I think that it just, it's in the
Oh, you
photo.
mean because of the rendered white, we rendered it white?
I don't know. I just suddenly looked at it and thought, wait a minute. That's
Do
okay.
you have a
Maybe
view
just
from
the
the
angle.
side, from an angle, so you see the, I think, look, I think the design is very nice. The additions are set back far enough so that I think that the integrity
There we go.
of the old house, is preserved. My only objection is the continuation of the ridge. And I wondered if you could keep the, it's now it's 5 or 6 feet long, up at the top of the pyramid, and I wondered if there's a way to drop the addition somewhat to preserve that original ridge length.
So it's subservient to the existing.
Subservient to the
Subservient.
original.
And that is my only objection, honestly.
I think it's a beautiful,
I'm glad they kept the old.
exactly, I think that's
I was
great
so
that they
relieved to see that.
It looks really good.
It's going to cost more.
And from the front, of course,
Yeah,
it's
but
fine.
they're
Just
gonna
that-
have
that-
a,
Yeah, they look.
that oblique view, I don't know, it just makes it, I mean, I know it's enormous, but that's okay. It just, I think you could, the house is large and that's fine, but I think that the dropping the ridge behind the height of the existing would
I agree. I
be
think-
better, that's all.
The total house is 4,000 square feet.
Yeah, no, it's fine. The size is fine. I think everything, you've broken up the massing, and I'm happy with it. That's the only thing I don't like, because, you obscure what was there already.
A slight drop would differentiate between the old and the new.
I mean, maybe use the chimney as
Well, the roof deck now extends past the chimney a little bit.
Right, but maybe
Extends
you
past
use-
the chimney like 2 or 3 feet.
yeah, well, maybe use
And
the
then
chimney as a
use that.
transition piece, that's all I'm thinking.
To market.
To mark it, or to drop the roof behind the chimney.
But in terms of, you see how it, the house sits.
Yeah, no, I see.
So if I'm not sure, I guess I'd have to drop the plate height to do that on the second floor from 8 to 7 feet.
No, I think actually if you made
Because-
on the north side of the rear extension, if you pushed that in, the main block,
Here.
if you push that in, a few feet, that would make the ridge lower, right? And
Then
then,
you'd be off center. I'd have to do it
Yes.
symmetric. I mean, I think it would, in order to get the effect you want, I would have to do it on both sides.
no, I think just that would be okay. And then to lose, to gain the space that you may be losing on the second floor, perhaps you could extend that L to the south. Just so you don't lose any space.
Make this bigger.
Yeah. It's tricky. I know, and
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to solve it.
Only because then you would get that on the north, but then on the south, you would.
I don't.
Currently, it looks like the south side addition is 29 feet and the north side is 28 feet, so they're already not even. Or am I
Well,
misreading?
those are the reverse hips coming out.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're slightly off there. But yeah, we didn't need the extra
I-
parking. I didn't want to make it bigger, so.
I don't have a big quarrel with this. I think you did a good job.
Yeah, I
but-
think it's fine.
So now we got a problem, because there's only 4 of us, I think.
I mean, it's good looking. What can I say?
Is there any way to, I'm willing to let it go the way it is, because he tried so hard, but if you two vote no and we vote no, it comes out as a no. So I'm asking you.
You know what? I don't want to vote no. It's everything else is so good.
Okay,
Exactly.
motion to approve the application of AHST 123 LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
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 You win. That was a very quick for a big house.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You know
no,
what?
That was-
That's what did it. Thank you very
Exactly.
much, and thank your
I
clients.
walked them on the property, and it's just, it's too nice a house.
Great
It's
historic.
great.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. We are.
Plains is the first
Thank
place I
you.
ever lived.
Okay. Next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
O'Malley House LLC, 40 Barnhart Street.
Acres.
We have posting and mailing here? Affidavits of,
I gave it in to them already.
It must be in the file then.
that's it. No, that's not it. O'Malley, that's it. It might be sticking up, is it?
Yep.
Okay, good. Is it stamped?
Yep.
Great. Okay, great, thanks. Your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Arthur Fraser. I'm the architect and applicant for the O'Malley House. That's 40 Barnhart. I think it's Barnhart Road or whatever, but anyway. It's hard with my glasses. They steam up with it. I can't read anything.
Ditto.
So the original home was built in 1996, and it's basically a large cape with an extended porch in the front. It was also designed specifically for a physically challenged owner, and it created a number of eccentricities. Alfie Callahan was the owner, for those who might remember Alfie.
Oh, yeah. Really? Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was his house. Does little Alfie live next door? He did. Go ahead.
He did, but I'm not sure where he is now.
Okay.
The current owners are planning to spend more time in Southampton and asked us to redesign the first floor to find some more space on the second floor. Specifically, they wanted to create a new master bedroom suite, which was originally on the first floor for the original owner, and to make the second floor bedrooms more livable for their adult children. They also want to maintain a relatively modest feel of the house and asked us to keep and maintain the existing height of the ridge at 27.6. Aesthetically, the owners don't like the long sloping roof as you approach the house. And that's created by the porch that extends from the main volume of the cape. Their other request was to convert the current cape to make it look more shingle style in appearance. They're also troubled by the fact the front door is recessed behind to the left of the extended garage, and it's hard for guests to find their way there. That's made even worse by the current long dark porch. It keeps out the northern light. So our starting point became the front elevations as we tried to alleviate the front door issue and create the shingle style appearance the clients wanted. And this just shows the extension to the front. And this is, I'm not sure where the camera is, but that just shows the house relative to its neighbor. So you can see it's a pretty modest house even when the extension occurs.
That's on a flag lot, the way it looks?
No.
No, it's just setback. Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's right.
That's a huge front yard, yeah.
They can't
One next door, right?
They should move their house forward while they're at it. Oh, except there's a cut-in.
Is that cut?
It's a weird lot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
one
it's a
sort of
really
an
weird situation.
L-shaped lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, where am I? So these sort of diagrams begin, just shows the process of using, make sure I'm in the right spot here, upside down. This is the existing garage, so I came up with that same angle and sloped it over and then repeated that to get this more shingle-style gable, although it's up above that. And then I, sort of took the same angles and repeated around the house to, again, create that sort of shingle-style appearance. Just moving it along. Oh, the other thing I wanted to point out is that we stepped back the gables as it worked its way up the original roof to accommodate the weird L shape that we're talking about, because that brings, the pyramid issues, which gets made this a very awkward thing to show, but it sort of shows working off of this corner. That you actually, take your vectors angle. So you angle The critical one is the pink one, and that's the one that comes closest to the first gable, but it clears it by a foot. Because where it crosses the building on the first gable, the yellow one, is only at 18 feet 9 inches. And then, of course, the further out you angle, the more it just clears the gables. So that was the reason for the step back of the gable. So I think that's all I have to say.
So the new garage, the garage doors face the street, is that right?
Yes.
That's not usually something we approve.
It is set far back.
Yeah, but it's right down the,
You actually can't see them from the street because it plateaus up. I would think.
really, I might be able to, I don't know.
If it weren't for the fact that it's so far, set so far back, I think it would be an issue, but.
I think it's so far back that it's okay.
Can we see the where is it? Oh, there it is. The site plan.
This?
Oh, we have one. Yeah, don't we have a site plan here? Didn't I just say all
Yeah.
that?
Garage would be here.
So the garage is set back from the main.
Yeah, it's in the very back of the main house.
Oh, yeah, where you,
Yeah, it's, you can't see it
I
here.
know, I know. All right, I guess I could live with that.
Yeah, I don't think they'd have
Hope it's
room
not
to
gonna
swing
be a-
around.
No, I
They
was
don't.
wondering about that, yeah.
You are stretching yourself pretty thin over there on the west side of this.
I liked, the west and, I like the west and east elevations so much that I wonder if you could make the gables in the north elevation coplanar, the two second-floor gables, two-story gables, the new ones, the new gables, if they could be coplanar instead of having that setback, just to simplify it.
You're talking about the proposed south elevation?
Proposed north.
Yeah, but aping,
Aping the west and
Yeah,
the
the
east.
west.
Yeah. That's my only design sort of.
You want them to pull that out?
I'd actually like to put the gable that's, the two-story gable that's forward, I'd like to push it back.
Yeah, I was talking about maybe eliminating that.
Exactly. And it just, yes. Is that the front?
That's the back.
No, the front. I want on the back's fine.
Well, the north elevation, it's
Yeah, the north elevation.
A6.
The two ski slopes?
If you could push if you could eliminate that piece, exactly. And push that piece back and maybe push the other one forward a bit so it's coplanar, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you have the double peak like you have on the sides, which I think is effective.
I don't know what to say.
That's my only comment, really.
I mean, the other reason I stepped in back like that was so when you're approaching the house, it sort of weights the house away from that corner that we've been talking about, so it doesn't seem overweighted on this end.
Recedes as you go.
That was the purpose of sort of stepping back.
Okay.
I think that sort of lightens it up as you move away from the house.
Yes.
That was my
point.
thought of that.
That is a point.
And sort of to complete the gables. But
I could approve it as is.
I take your point.
I think it's fine.
I'm all right with it.
Yeah.
All right,
Me too. All right.
motion to approve the application O'Malley House LLC, 40 Barnhart Street.
So moved.
Second? Aye.
Aye.
Whoa,
Thank you, Mr.
that was
Ferguson.
quick.
We're on a roll.
Thank you.
Next, aren't you up at the next one too?
Yes, I'll be right back.
Okay. Take a deep breath.
You should have seen me trying to keep track of these this
I-
afternoon as
yeah.
I'm trying to get ready.
Go have a victory drink and come right back.
You want to just see if we've got that affidavit in
Oh, did you
Dwyer?
bring them in for, it's the very last folder.
Dwyer.
It's sticking out.
It's sticking
Probably
up.
that, yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you for bringing them in early, so we don't have to
Sure.
Thank you.
stamp them and reach over everything.
Yeah, I thought you didn't want to handle as much stuff.
Well, we
as
don't want to be
possible.
handling, be near each other necessarily. Not easy. But I thought this was a spectacular hidden property, I must say.
Yeah, it really, really
That's a
is.
beauty.
Damon O'Dwyer, 310 South Main Street. I lived across the street for at least 8 years and never knew this was here until
I didn't know it
2
was
days
there.
ago.
I've driven past it a thousand
Evidently,
times.
Peter DeWitt knew it was there,
Yeah, I would say that the driving,
skulking around.
We all walked down that
Oh,
driveway.
my goodness.
Nice.
Go ahead, sorry,
okay,
Arthur.
no, that's fine.
It's amazing.
You actually took away my first 3 or 4 sentences.
Did you call it
I have to catch up.
the secret garden?
Right,
That's-
I
that's
did.
my
I said,
nickname.
I imagine it's what Southampton was like in the middle of the last
Oh my
century.
God, that's what you said earlier.
So, I
It
mean,
almost brought me to tears because
Yeah.
it's not left, except for there.
I don't know if anybody who
Yeah,
hasn't
we were
been
there.
there.
Oh, yeah, we walked right down.
But it's sort of, I think it's 2.5 acres. It just goes in this big rectangle.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
that's great.
And when you come in, they have all these like old chicken coops.
Yeah, goofy stuff, it's so great.
So, again, these clients, they were, to their credit, they said they definitely did not want a McMansion. They wanted a small, I hate to use the word cottage, but the small shingle-style house. It's more in the cottage vernacular. And they also, we had to work around this beach, the copper beech tree, which is ginormous.
It's
like,
spectacular.
they said it's over 100 years old.
That's amazing.
So
I love them already.
You gotta go down
I'll
there.
have to check it out.
And, you know, this is what they're currently living in, so.
Yeah, it was something.
So, we tried to locate the property over here on the, I guess it's the northwest corner. And so to leave as much open space as possible, but we did manage to get enough room to drive around and have
The trees.
save the tree here. It's a copper beech. We had to keep it away from the copper beeches. Almost couldn't go that way, but that was fine since they wanted to keep all this stuff up here. But we are able to turn into the garage doors on the side. Which is good. And, you know, they wanted gables, they wanted shutters, they wanted the simple Tuscan columns, wanted a porch and a small balcony off the master bedroom to, you know, look out at the backyard.
At the
I think the
Magic
family
Garden.
owned it for about 50 years. And so again, it's a combination of gables and dormers that come off the roof in sort of the old shingle style, French doors facing the backyard.
Does anyone have a problem with this?
No.
No.
Arthur, we're just going to say yes
Beautiful.
to the dress,
Say
okay?
yes.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the application of Damon O'Dwyer, 310 South Main Street.
So
Do you
moved.
have the materials listed on those big plans?
Yes, I have just cedar shingles and white trim.
Okay. Motion to approve the application of 310 South Main Street. Do I have a second?
Second?
Aye.
Thank the owner for saving the
Thank
trees.
you very much.
Thank
Yeah, and for the saving those, everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
cool.
No, they're a great young couple.
All right, public hearings historic. Thomas and Meredith Joyce, 765 Hill Street, is that still adjourned?
Yes, we're still waiting.
You're waiting for the ZBA? Do we have, how is the adjournment last? Okay, why don't you come up and,
However you want to do it.
I know it, I realize that you keep waiting, I see that. So,
I want to thank, the board has been very, very helpful and very accommodating. The zoning board of appeals,
they just don't get a fifth. I know.
Hopefully the election will fix that. And someone will have a fifth member, I hope.
Yeah, that-
Should happen pretty quickly. But we're actually supposed to be in court on it. Let me fill you in a little bit. Maybe if you could
We can't do anything
Well,
until
you
the
can send
ZBA.
you can send another message to the zoning board of appeals. We have an action pending against this board for the denial of the ability to remove the second building. The board allowed us to remove the old Bartlett Tree building because it demonstrated that it had been totally rebuilt in the 80s. So we have the action pending, and we had it all settled. We had it settled, but it's
I know,
to leave it there, but it's subject to the zoning board of appeals taking an action.
Well, we understand that. We can only be our board, and they have to be theirs. So you're just,
Yeah,
okay. So would you like to ask for, are you asking for an adjournment until the end of October, or do you think that's a silly idea?
You should probably kick it over to November. the end of
Okay, there's
November.
only one meeting because of, it's Thanksgiving, as if anyone's going to, you're going to be with your 2 children and your husband or
I'll
something.
probably
Yeah.
be asking for it again. Oh, maybe, I don't know.
It may have to be,
I'm hoping maybe the judge will, when we have the conference before the judge will
make
maybe
them.
have some direction for me to take back to the,
Okay,
to
so
the, to the
do you want to
ZBA.
go to the November meeting?
That's fine, that's fine.
Now, when would that be?
November 9th?
Probably. It's the second Monday and the,
November 9th.
okay, motion to approve applicant's request for Thomas and Meredith Joyce, 765 Hill Street, for an adjournment until our meeting on November 9th, 2020. How's that? Good?
Sounds good.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, next. You're up again, right?
Yep.
BHNH LLC, 109 Hampton Road. Construct additions and alterations to existing dwelling.
So this is Fort Smith's old house, and Noreen Harbert is here with me this evening. She's the owner, along with her husband, William. And I'm thinking maybe the best way, if I can, well, I was just, for a second, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I thought maybe the best way to do it was to take a look at the latest
Changes.
the latest submission and compare it with what we had the last time. So one of the things that we did, and really I'll just go to the elevations, because really the tale is told in the changes in what have been made in the elevations and the rear addition. I always try to wet my,
It's way at the back.
I try to wet my finger so I can.
Frowned upon.
I know, that drives me nuts.
Damn,
Drives me crazy.
Rubber thimble
me.
thing that the accountants use.
I
It's like
understand.
all of a sudden you have
It's
to
the
learn a
last
new way of
page.
It's the
living.
last
The last page. Last
Yeah,
page.
oh, thank
That's
you.
the north elevation.
Keep going. There you are.
No, I wanted to start, if I can, with some of the changes.
Really?
Remember the dormer, let's talk a little bit, it's 202, which is the changes in the dormer and the east elevation of the addition. So what we did do is we took these, it's really very, very, Fort Smith tried to get some light in there with this really like 70s-ish skylight. It doesn't really work. We'd really like the board to, I know there's been some uncomfortability about these dormers, so we did take what Zach wanted us to do and break it up. And originally we broke it up into 2 and 3, and now we're in 2 and 2. And we can't make them 1 because of the interior, the bedrooms there. We took it up above the fascia board and the soffit and really tried to limit it. I think some of you might have been there. And yes, it's a historic house, and one doesn't expect 10-foot ceilings in a historic house, but we really need to look at this in a way. It's interesting, I've been thinking about this house an awful lot. And, I don't pretend to have the knowledge of this stuff that Mr. Studenroth does. But the blue sheet describes it as a Greek revival, but I'm really sort of scratching my head, other than that reverse gable over the entrance, which will keep, and the side lights, and maybe some of those returns. I mean, it doesn't have any of the, this is sort of the Bible Hamlin, which I'm proud to own, doesn't have any of the trademarks of there are no pilasters, there's no columns. I think it's much as anything a farmhouse.
It's a vernacular version of the Greek Revival.
Excuse me?
A vernacular version of the Greek Revival.
I'll grant you that.
And the fascia and the returns.
Yeah.
And 6 over 6 winds.
But they're not unique to, the returns are not unique to Greek Revival.
But it's a Greek Revival.
Far from it, but I would, but in any event, what I did was I looked at Hamlin's book, and I have some examples if you want to see them, and I looked at Kennedy's book, and there are plenty of examples of Greek Revival that have dormers, and there's a real practical need for these dormers. So hopefully if you visited the site, the only other option is to leave this the way it is to gain what little light we can, and I would really prefer not to do that for obvious reasons. And I will tell you, having lived in Southampton, with the exception of the 10 years I was in New York all my life, one sees this when you're driving east on Hampton Road, because you're driving past an area, it stands out on the corner, but when you're driving west on Hampton Road, both the foliage and the trees tend to obscure it, and you're not really, your attention isn't as drawn to it as when you're driving to the east. So again, we're going to try to do something about that, and we hope you'd give us some flexibility on that. The other thing is the east elevation of the rear addition. Now, we listened a lot to, now I'm sort of honestly talking out of both sides of my mouth right now, because one of the things that is very, very, very signature or telltale, the Greek Revivals had probably the first use of metal roofs in the state of New York and in the United States, and there's some very, very prominent examples of it. There's the Horatio Ondercook House in Manhasset, which has a side wing with a metal roof. Actually, I spoke to Mr. Studenroth some time ago. We had an interesting discussion about this. He actually was involved in the re-roofing of that house. It's a tin house. I give you the Masonic Temple in Sag Harbor, not only because of it does look like a standing seam roof, but it's not. It's just a shallow dormer size. So I give you that, but there are.
I don't think we're arguing.
We're not arguing with the tin.
Stop.
The rear of the house is
We're not arguing with the metal roof.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
So then, well, no, I know you have an issue with them, so I just wanted to.
I only in certain places. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to know that.
I thought to separate it from and since it's flattened down some, it makes sense, Mr. Bennett.
And then what we did is we centered.
Just to slap it on the outside of every roof, drive around, they're useless.
There's some thought and some heritage and some tradition.
There is, and it shows.
It's represented.
Yeah, we think, I
windows were
think this
simplified
looks
in the
pretty good.
back.
I'm
It's
not
like-
down with the dormers. I think the addition is a vast improvement over the last time. And everyone, I think, is pretty good about it. I don't know for sure.
I like the addition.
I like the addition a lot.
So let's go back to what is it that we don't like? Anything?
The dormers on the east elevation.
East dormers.
I'm going to have to ask you just to adjourn that and struggle with it a little bit, maybe present some more information. They're such an important part of this livability of the house. And as I say, I looked through the literature, and there are plenty of examples of Greek revivals with dormer. Granted, most of them are in the front or the rear, okay? But I would argue with you that except for some, even the blue sheet calls this a farmhouse. And most Greek revivals were not farmhouses, they were townhouses.
Did farmhouses have dormers that pierced the roof?
In driving around the community,
we don't see it.
We don't see it.
Well, sure, that's just not the case. Here's 40 North. Let me just show you these. If I
show us
may.
something.
Let me show you some of these. That's
Wait, you have to put them down on the table, Mr.
Oh, okay, sure, I will.
Because we have to show the public everything.
This is actually was an inspiration for. This actually was an inspiration for an addition to my house on Hildreth Street on 40 North Main.
Can you flip it the other way, please? Thank you.
Really quite lovely. And then there's another little house that was a companion house. Oh, no, here's 40 North Main on the, this is the north elevation. But here's the east elevation of 40 North Main, which is in the historic district. And it's, what would you call this? It's a farmhouse, a little bit of Dutch colonial aspect of it, I guess, based upon the roof.
Different roof forms.
Yeah, this
I know it's a
isn't the
different roof form,
same.
but we're talking about.
This one has some bearing, 49.
Then we have North Main and Skinner, which is the, what is John?
We gave him these dormers, didn't we, on this one?
This house was built, I used to live across the street from it
Doing a
on
good
Skinner
job
Street.
of
This is
building
one of
it.
the older homes in the village of Southampton. And this area of the house was original.
Yeah.
Because I used to look at it all the time when I would walk my dog and walk my kids to school,
It's a pretty amazing
you know? And,
It's a redo, it's
renovation.
beautiful. It's
oh, no, they
working
did.
out.
Isn't it nice
They
to
did a
see?
great job.
It's really nice to
It
see.
really is, and it really improves
It's
that
really
section.
just fantastic.
Thank God.
I'm so glad that somebody
And it actually
put
got
that comment,
done.
because
It
everyone
was sitting
forgets
up there
that's-
doing nothing.
That's another entrance to the village of Southampton.
Yes, sir.
This is just, again, this is a 30 Jennings. I know the roof forms are different. Here's, interestingly,
Because
this is an old
This house has
farmhouse.
such a simple roof line there.
Excuse me, this is the old essay barn at the end of Layton, which again, that's an old farmhouse barn, converted barn.
Yeah, this is two apples and oranges for me.
Excuse me?
It's 2 apples and oranges for me.
And then we have 83 Layton. And
We
have
don't, I
96
don't know that
Elm,
his 49 Main, we don't know what.
131 Elm. These are all houses that I've taken. This is the old, Court Bishop's house. And then
Probably stamp this in
167
here.
Elm. Very common element there. And I wouldn't be pressing it at all. I would be saying thank you for everything. Thank you for being flexible on the addition and everything. But it's a real practicality. I mean, the only other option I have is at great expense. And I don't want to suggest it, but I mean, just to literally cut around the roof and try to literally raise the roof.
Well, you
which I
don't want to
think you
do
should
that.
Well, no, that would keep the roof warm, and it would be a couple feet higher, and it wouldn't.
That would destroy the house. I mean, we aren't saying yes to that.
Okay. But in any event,
Don't even think about changing
I think that there's
what's there.
I think that there's a real practicality here, and if you can't approve it tonight, I'd ask you to struggle with it just for a little bit longer, because, Noreen, would you,
We really feel passionately that we need this headroom. I mean, well, you walked in, you saw what it's like to go up the stairs, and then the bedroom, only 48% of the floor space can be used because the eaves come down to a 3-foot, 8-inch knee
knee
wall.
walls, yeah.
It's just not functional. We're putting all this money, all these
resources.
resources into it. We just want it to work.
And I'll be honest with you, it's sat there in various states, this report. I don't know, maybe poor Court Smith didn't have the money to maintain it, but then his son, it was a hoarding place. I felt bad for the guy when I went past it. You really have someone who's going to put a lot of money into this. This is the give back that I want. This is the give back that I want.
Well, we're giving the 2 windows on the north side for the addition.
No, we're bringing them back. Aren't we sort of bringing them back to what they are? We're taking care, Court put all these, they were sort of what everybody did in those days, these sort of, but they are really quite horrific 70s, skylights in them. They're really like plexiglass, and it's a people, I know you say we really can't make people do wood shingle roofs, but it's much more expensive, and listen, I say to clients.
Who said that?
Who
said we can't do wood shingle roofs?
What vegetation currently exists on that corner of the house?
There's some stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. It's very
I
overgrown.
think you call it stuff.
Would that, is there enough there that would obscure, I admire the fact that the house is being
It's going to be
renovated and
beautifully
restored.
landscaped, I assure you.
I think that's,
But it really is about the house, not about, we can't hide the things that we don't like. I'm not saying you shouldn't approve those, but it's not about the land. We cannot.
I understand what you're saying.
We do that, and this is a special house in a
Yeah,
sense.
I know.
I hate to be like that, but that's how it is.
But I think you have someone who's going to lovingly restore this house and want to make it practical to live in. It really wasn't practical to live in, and I think the proof in it was that, for whatever reason, either because of his economic position or whatever, and then his son's economic position, it just fell in disrepair because it has an unusable second floor. And of all people, I think you may not know this, but I'm very passionate about this stuff. But I think sometimes it's like that book that, who's the guy who did the Whole Earth Catalog, wrote a book called How Buildings Learn or How Buildings Grow. I mean, sometimes in order to have functionality, you have to make a little bit of a. I know you're not comfortable with it, but I think given what's being done here, I think
So
I would ask
the
for a
two
bit of
people who
feedback.
went to the house, do you have any comments? Because I didn't go, I felt that my purview is not inside. And
Well, I was just trying to.
I'm a conservative in that way.
No, I wasn't. I know you don't have. I thought it might have informed the request. That's all.
I understand the argument from the inside, I really do. I mean, I didn't bump my head.
In an old building, once you bump your head, you never bump your head ever again.
And I take your point about, we got to make these things, bring them up to date, just to save them. And to that end, I think we were pretty liberal about the west-facing dormer and the minor changes on various Ls. But I'm still not convinced about the east dormer. I'm sorry.
So why don't we
Adjourn
it?
You want to come back in the month?
Come back. I want to take another bite.
I don't want to come back, but yes, for
Yeah,
this.
I want to take another
think
bite
it's-
out of it. Maybe I'll
So that's
try
the-
to find some stuff, other stuff in the vernacular for you or something like that. I'm going to try to persuade you. That's all. The client.
That's my only quibble. Everything else is fabulous.
No, I know that. I know
We've
that.
come a long way, Mr. Bennett.
And we've given you one door.
Yeah.
And we're getting rid of a lot of skylights.
No, you're doing a great job.
We're not complaining, it's
No
just
doubt
the
about
people
that.
who, I don't feel that, I'm not supposed to look inside, that that's what the rules are, so I don't want to be tempted. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm not saying I'm saying no to it, but it's just, I'm trying to stay out of the fray. But these two did want to go, and they're the big historic
Well, I think they went,
reservations.
right?
Yes, they went.
That's
And they're the two that are pushing up against you.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Okay.
I'm going to try.
Motion to accept applicant
okay with you?
BHNH LLC's request for an adjournment until our next meeting on the 26th of October. Do I have a second?
Second.
Aye. Okay. Bruce Wilden, man, oh, it's adjourned. Is there a letter in that file? Motion to approve applicant 16 Gin Lane, Wilden Manor LLC for window replacement, letter requesting adjournment until?
It doesn't say until, it just says
Adjourn.
Okay, let's adjourn it till our next meeting, which is October 26th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
so move.
Aye.
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 Okay.
Until we meet again.
Wait, Sarah has something to say, right?
Oh, yeah, I would, it's about,
It's okay.
no, it's
It's not secret. This is a
not
public
secret.
meeting.
This is,
We're not gossiping.
no. I would like to have the surveys that have been updated made available to the board members. There's a hard copy of a survey that's dated to 2009, and it's not in digital form, it's in hard copy. And the buildings inspector has one copy, and I believe that Zach has the other copy. And we want them made available for the afternoon so that we can get it photocopied.
I'm sorry, you talking about this application?
No.
No.
You're not. You're dismissed, Mr. Bennett. Have a nice evening. So I think that would be really helpful to all of us.
Because right
And I
now,
don't know why it's never been available. I didn't know anything about this, but
And-
it
and
seems a
right
little mysterious that Zach could come up with all this stuff by being at home.
and
Like, wait a minute.
And right now, if we had a photocopy of the information, then we wouldn't be in the dark about some of this information. So we wouldn't be guessing about the dates of buildings or anything like that. It would save a lot of time.
So we just wanted it on the public record that we need that.
That's something that we wanted.
Okay.
Okay? Otherwise, do I have a motion to close the meeting of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation of September 28th, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
All right.